Hello friend! Today I have a very sacred and urgent story to share with you about the ancient trees, the ancient forest that currently resides on the west coast of so-called Canada. And in this video, I want to share with you the beautiful energy, importance, and value of these forests, which if you're a tree hugger, a tree lover like me, I'm sure you already know. And I also want to share with you the truth, what I really feel is the heart of what is happening right now. You know, the protests, the movements, the action that is going on right now on what is known as Vancouver Island. And how this is all linked to this dark history and current colonial legacy that Canada is continuing. So I'm really excited to speak with you today, and thank you so much for being here with me, and thank you for connecting and honoring the trees. Let's first talk about these ancient forests and trees and what it really means to be an old growth forest. You know, what does this term even mean? From my understanding, it means that a forest is over like 100, 150 years old. So usually these will be trees that they could be 1,000, over 2,000 years old. And that's something I want to clear up right away, is that I think it's a huge misconception that a lot of people say in the logging industry, well, oh, it's fine to cut down these trees because we're going to replace them. We're going to replant the trees. And oftentimes what will happen is the government, they'll give these contracts to certain companies, and then they have to pay for twice as many trees to be planted, or at least, equal the amount. But that is, just false information, that these trees that they're planting are equivalent to the ancient trees that they're cutting down. First of all, these trees are thousands of years old. They're ginormous, a lot of them. They are huge, and it is shocking. I'm from the east coast of Canada, and when I came out here to the west coast a few months ago, I was shocked and just blown away by the size and energetic power of the trees out here. And that's because almost all the old growth trees on the east coast of Canada have already been clear cut around 300 years ago. So that's something to keep in mind in this conversation. So yes, these trees are very different. For one, because they're ginormous, they hold so much more carbon in these ancient trees. They're doing so much more, for preventing wildfires and flooding. But yeah, they do so much more for us, for the oxygen, the air that we breathe, than these baby trees. And another thing to keep in mind, which really resonates with me, is that these old growth forests are wild. They are of the earth. They were born from the earth. They sprout up from the ground. And this ancient practice of, if you've ever read The Secret World of Trees, Secret Lives of Trees, I'll link it below to a super fascinating scientific book that talks all about how sentient and complex and fascinating this whole world of trees is. That, there is a beautiful divine way that trees are reborn, and it is very different to, cultivate certain trees in a lab or, away from the earth, and then to plant them, linearly in lines with certain, feet apart, all the same type. And I personally experienced this as a tree planter. I was a tree planter just for a season, and it's definitely a different vibe than these truly wild forests. And then, an old growth forest, there's tons of just fallen trees and, tons of moss and lichen and so much life that's growing from these trees that are dead, because they aren't really dead. It's like it's all connected, and you see this beautiful cycle of life that is just, is so obvious and so beautiful within these old growth forests. And you don't see that in these second growth, in these forest farms, these tree farms. It's not like that. And a lot of these trees are then cut down after 100 years, which when you realize that these trees grow to be over 2,000 years old, you can see that 100-year-old trees are basically baby trees. They're not fully embodying the power and incredible divinity that they're meant to. So yeah, that's just what I can say about the beauty of these ancient forests, not to mention also all the other life that is so intertwined and reliant on these ancient trees. You know, you got the fungi, you got the plants, you have so much ancient biodiversity. And the place I'm going to be talking about today, later on in the video, there's actually, you know, a stream, a river that goes through these forests that is also reliant on this whole ecosystem is all connected, as is all life. And so, you know, clear cutting one area is going to destroy and affect all of the life, all of the animals. There's also endangered birds, endangered species that live in the ancient forest that they want to cut down. So yeah, it's not just the trees, it's so much more. In these ancient forests, and even just in forests in general, that at least I've seen here on the West Coast, like, they are so unique. Like, these trees are fabulous. They're like bulbous, they're curving, like they are just truly expressions of life. And that's what else I want to mention in this video, is that of course, these trees do so much for us physically, you know, for the ecosystems, for the air that we breathe, just for the earth. But also they are these really powerful, divine, energetic pillars that are just rooted so deep in the earth, just shooting up, you know, up to the sky. And I truly feel that they hold so much wisdom, so many ancient codes that we can connect to, so much love. And if you've ever hugged a tree, ever even just been around an ancient tree, you know what I'm talking about. And everyone should experience this. And I really feel that these trees, they remind us of what it means to be alive, and truly these cycles of life, how they have stood here for thousands of years, staying grounded, you know, in their frequency, just shining out light, giving out love just for all of Earth, no matter what has changed and happened. And truly the energy that is grounded within these trees is so sacred, so incredibly sacred and alive. You know, these trees are sentient beings. And so it is truly a massacre seeing these cutting blocks, seeing the devastation of the clear cuts that completely destroys all life around it. It is truly a graveyard to look at, and you can feel the energy as well. All right, so now that you know the power, the beauty, the wildness, the aliveness of these gorgeous ancient trees, I want to share with you the story of what is currently happening on Pachidat and Dididat unceded territory. Unceded means that the indigenous of the land, the people who were originally inhabiting this land, harmoniously living with the earth and the creatures and the trees, that when colonizers came over, they literally stole the land. Canadian government, who are literally just the descendants, the legacy living today of colonialism, have decided that they can do what they want with this land, with these ancient forests. And so they have given logging rights like this. There's this section that they've decided that a certain company called Teal Jones can log. And this has been going on since colonialism. And this is on what is known as Vancouver Island. And it's really fascinating because in the 1990s, this very similar thing occurred in Clayoquot Sound. And over 900 people were violently arrested. And now today we see in the Fairy Creek blockades where people are trying to block the loggers from cutting down these trees in what is known as Fairy Creek, they are also being violently arrested. They are being harassed by loggers, and they are sitting in trees for hours, these giant, tall trees. It's really incredible what they're doing. They, are chaining themselves to each other to try to block them from getting through. They are staying up for hours and hours, like on top of these structures that they create. They're like pouring concrete into these pipes, and still, there's almost been 500 arrests. And yeah, if you look at their Instagram, you can see the violence that is going on. You can see how illegal the kinds of things that the RCMP, the colonial enforcers, are doing. And there's been a lot of propaganda around this, what this movement really is. And as I already explained, this is people defending the land that is not truly the government of Canada's. Like, it doesn't belong to them, and they don't have a right to log, to allow companies to log this land. And it's very fascinating because, yeah, when you hear different facts that are thrown around, like I heard that they've spent, and this was a couple weeks ago, they've spent over $33 million deploying the RCMP. They send up helicopters, which are so expensive, just to, spy on what's going on. It's absolutely absurd. It is absurd what they are doing. And it makes you wonder, like, if it's really about money, if it's really only about money, then why are they spending all this money to stop this movement? How I see it is that it is truly, it is rooted in money. It's rooted in this colonial commodification of the land. The idea that the only value that the land has, that the trees have, is in how they can convert it into profits, which is absolutely absurd when you consider what I just told you about all the magnificence and the extreme value that these forests give all of life, not just humans. And also, I see this as a direct attack on life, and in particular on Indigenous culture and life. And this is, if you have, been following anything that's been happening around residential schools, you know that the Canadian government has been trying to attack and threaten Indigenous life here on these lands for forever, since they came here, since they decided to colonize it. Please listen below. I have a podcast that I listen to, and there's a beautiful soul from the Pachidat and Dididat territories, and she's talking about the significance through her perspective, of an Indigenous perspective, of what is happening. And that is another thing, is this propaganda that these movements, that this is anti-Indigenous, or that, just listen below. I'm not Indigenous to these lands, so I can't really speak for them. But please, if you want to hear the perspectives, or if you've been reading how they've been saying, oh, this person from the band council, or, these people, they're saying to get off the land, like, listen below to really hear the truth of what people are saying. Or, just look up Elder Bill Jones, and that is his niece, I'm pretty sure, or his great niece, that's speaking in that interview. So eloquent. In my opinion, knowing what these forests really mean, what these trees really are, this is an attack on the sacred. This is the destruction of the wild, divine, pure energy of Mother Earth, that we as humans of this earth should always have access to, and always be able to connect to. And of course, these aren't the lands that, my ancestors were Indigenous to. So yeah, with respect to the people here, I ask for the ability to connect to these lands. But I don't think these colonizers should have the right to decide to murder, to slaughter, to destroy the lands that are truly an expression of life. So what can we do? I hope that you're getting inspired, like you're getting shocked and disturbed, and hopefully I can lift you up now, because it can be really dark looking at what's happening, but we gotta hold the frequency, hold the vision of protection for these forests, protections from Mother Earth. What can we do? Obviously, as I said, there's the Fairy Creek blockades going on. You can go out, if you can take a couple weeks off of work, or even a couple days if you're out here on the West Coast, like go, anything helps. If whatever you can do is so incredible. I've also met people who have just driven out with donations. If there's any kind of community, or in your city, whatever, if you can post and I know people have done this too, and just ask if anyone would like to donate, food, supplies, whatever. Also, if you can just donate your money, also below there'll be a GoFundMe to support Indigenous land defenders, which is would be so amazing. Yeah, whatever support you can offer. And I truly believe that if you're living, breathing on this earth, which I'm assuming you are if you're watching this video, and especially if you are on these colonized lands of so-called Canada, we owe it to the trees, we owe it to the Indigenous people, we owe it to Mother Earth, we owe it to give whatever we can and whatever is enough. So come out if you can, donate if you can, at least share some posts on Instagram, talk to your friends about it. Like, I just casually was posting some stuff and some of my friends said, whoa, like I hadn't even heard about this. Like, but yeah, there's so much you can do right now. You can also call your MP. I don't truly know how effective that is. Like, comment below what you think about that, but like, let's do it anyways. Like, yeah, or create something like this, like create something. Let's get creative. Like, comment down below if you have any other ideas. But all in all, I feel like what needs to be done and what this whole movement, these actions are about, is that we need a new system. This isn't working, and we are done with the colonial commodification of these beautiful, ancient, sacred lands. We need a new system. There's other ways. There are truly other ways, and it is not okay to say, well, oh, this is just how it is. There is no other system. This is how we're doing it. No more. And that's what, many parts of the movement, there's all different kinds of groups that they're calling for, is a moratorium. So the end, the death of old growth logging, of logging ancient trees. I'd love to hear your beautiful, creative ideas down below. We won't have these ancient forests forever if we don't act now. So thank you so much. Thank you for watching this video. And I hope that you can go connect with the forest today, connect with the trees in whatever way, and that you can find your own unique, beautiful way to help save these beautiful, divine, and truly sacred ancient forests.
All my life, all this time, I've been a warrior, and I know why. I've been given the torch of a light. I walk in the darkness of the night. Years we fought for this freedom, years I thought I had all wisdom. Now I see with new eyes. From this truth I cannot hide. Hey, ah, hey, hey, ah, hey, hey, ah, hey, ah, hey, ah, hey, hey, ah, hey, hey, ah, hey, hey, ah, hey, ah, hey, ah, hey, oh, hey. I gotta believe I'm here to make a difference without fear of being seen or heard. Like the bird who flies at night, like the lion strong and fierce, like the whale singing. I'd like to be bringing peace to you, to me, to you, to me. Into the wild I'll go.